My name is Daryl Reed, and I'm the Fire Chief for Vancouver Fire Rescue Services. I would say the biggest part of my role is leadership. It's connecting our mission to our people, making sure that we're all on the same page in terms of what it is that we're trying to accomplish and the choices that we're making and how to accomplish those things. And regularly checking in with staff and with the people that we serve to make sure that we are accomplishing the things that we need to. One of the puzzles for us and one of the things we're trying to tackle is how do the high performers, the ones who everyone says that's the best firefighter in the department, that's the best at their skills, that's the best hockey coach, that's the best person, why are we losing those people as well? There doesn't seem to be a predictability to it, and it's a scary thing. But that's the message that's really rooted in my own mind as I work with our teams to try to build programs. Sadly, two of my best friends from the industry committed suicide in the last 3 years. And there are a lot of interactions, a lot of crossover relationships in the department, and people knew my personal connection to the issue as well. And as personally, that might be a tough thing, but as a leader, I think understanding, having that perspective of losing someone that you worked with for many years on the trucks, that you went on all the same calls with, that you saw the tough things they saw too, I think that actually really can energize you and give you an authenticity when you're communicating to your staff about how important this stuff is. So it was just communicating with staff, sitting down in halls, talking to people, in small groups, over and over and over. And it could look kind of onerous from the outside, but it's actually very enjoyable. It's almost therapeutic sometimes, and probably engaged in well over 200 staff visits in my first year and a bit on the job. But what that did is it elevated myself and other members of the team doing that consistently and frequently. It elevated our staff engagement and our staff morale significantly. How do we give you the resources and the tools and the support and the education that you need during your career so that you have a great career, you set a great example for all the other people having the career beside you, and then when you retire, you're strong and resilient and healthy, and yet we still have programs that you can reach back and access if you need to. And maybe we can bring retired members in to help our active members with some of the challenges that they're experiencing. So we're tying, you know that your experience and your wisdom is important, and then to have that happy retirement that unfortunately eludes a lot of first responders. In our industry, people really respond well to people who lead by example. So if you're going to make this framework of programs to take and resources to access, then you as a professional should also be taking those programs and accessing those resources. And maybe it's a little more incumbent on a leader to be open about that and to let people know that you're doing those things, even if that's out of your comfort zone, because it's very powerful. And you have to be fearless as a communicator. You have to tell your stories. You have to tell them about things that might not be comfortable to talk about, and you have to tell them what you're doing about it. And I think that's the hesitation for some people in leadership roles. They don't want to show weakness. They don't want to, they want to be above all of that. But I don't believe that's possible if you're going to be a leader who instills a strong mental health program in your organization. You really have to live it the same way that you expect your staff to live it. And the key skill is communication. It's to be that storyteller, to be open, and also to make the effort to communicate directly. This is stuff that's best talked about face-to-face. It's not stuff that's talked about in memos successfully or Facebook posts. This is real, and it's gritty, and sometimes you might have to have a one-on-one conversation, and sometimes you might be able to speak at a spouse's night or a family night and talk to 200 people at the same time. But you need to be able to look people in the eyes in this conversation. Well, there are a lot of organizations and groups that are having success. So there are departments like ours. The British Columbia Professional Firefighters is doing a lot of good work. WorkSafe is doing a lot of good work. And there are many other organizations as well. And the first thing I would probably do if I was just starting would be to reach out, because that community has proven itself to be very good at sharing good ideas and also sharing information about what doesn't work. So reach out to the people that are engaged in it. This is, it's not a competition for one place to be better than another place at mental health supports for their staff. It's very much a community of sharing and a community of learning. And I think that if you're just starting out, you have all of these great things that you can copy, and copy with the support of those who have done them. People sometimes, and I've seen it in organizations, treat mental health programs as a list of check boxes. We've got the policy, check. We've put the policy out, and we know that everyone has read it through whatever means we're using, check. And they keep checking through the boxes, but they're not actually checking in with the staff to see how the uptake is, to see how people are feeling about it, to see if people understand it, believe in it, all those things. So spend the time and the effort on the internal communication and the engagement of people, not on building this textbook perfect policy framework for mental health. I measure the success of our team by outcomes. And one of the most important outcomes in terms of mental health that we've been seeing recently are the difference between people who finished the resilience training versus our firefighters who haven't yet had the opportunity to take it, and measuring their resilience through survey tools and other tools to actually see what a difference it made. And we are seeing significant improvements in resilience. Some scores 30, 40, 50% higher in terms of how that program and how thinking about this stuff is positively impacting our members. There are a few pieces to an ideal resilient organization. One is that there is an air of trust. Another is that internal communication up, down, and across is very, very strong. And another is that you actually have training and education pieces in place where people understand resilience and they understand how they can be resilient, and they have the tools that they can apply both to themselves and to their coworkers and their team to help all of those be resilient as well. When I started, we were only reactive. Something bad happened, we would try to work through it. Now we're proactive. Something bad is gonna happen, and here's what we're gonna do now to help you be better at dealing with that, and here's what you know you've got access to when it happens. That's the shift.